Assalamu alaikum and hi everyone. With the hope and pray for your well-being, here we start our session once again. And today I'm going to let you people go 15 years ago back in Pakistan. In 2005, Pakistan in particular and world in general saw what was not very usual for them, for themselves all. We encountered an earthquake. And there was a person sitting somewhere else on planet Earth who started watching all those things, and he decided one day that he has to fly to the location himself. Being the logistic guy himself, he was of the view that he can do wonders in his plans. And as I usually say, and I'm strong advocate of it myself, that it takes a man with a mission to succeed. And the whole universe stands aside for the person who knows where he's going. And that very thing happens with that person as well. With the time passing by, that person, that logistic guy, saw United States Army helicopters helping him. That person saw Pakistan Army collaborating with him. That person saw category A plus medical professionals creating clutter around him, and that person saw local community embracing him like a family member to themselves. I'm talking about a person who is CEO and founder of CDRS. And when I say CDRS, I mean Comprehensive Disaster Response Services. He is a person who is also a singer, a guitarist, and songwriter. And above all, he is the person who is heart to many, who is heart and soul to all the Pakistani community. I'm talking about our very own Timothy Todd SHEA. Todd, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me, Shahzad. It's an honor to be on your program.
That is great. I'm feeling much energized after watching your refreshed face. Thank you very much for joining us again. And to start with, Todd, I know a bit about you, but I would request you to share with our audience that who are you, what do you do, and what is your current business status and all the things you're doing.
Well, my name is Todd SHEA, obviously. Comprehensive Disaster Response Services is a organization that I registered in Pakistan not long after the earthquake. And I have a wonderful team of volunteers and employees in Pakistan and donors mostly in the United States are donors, but also in the UK and other places and in Pakistan. And together, we all work together for a cause, and that's to alleviate suffering in the humanity wherever we can and however we can. I have gone to many different countries after disasters. Pakistan has become like home because we do a lot of our development work there, and it's a country that I've fallen in love with. The people and the mountains and the food and the culture and the music, the religions. It's a beautiful country. It's a magical, mystical country with khubsurat people, bedridden children, and it's a place that unlike any I've ever been in my whole life. It's a very special place, and there's a lot of suffering there, and there's problems there, but there's problems everywhere in the world, you know. And but Pakistan has a very unique character to its people, and there's never a dull moment in Pakistan for me.
Todd, thank you very much. Todd, let me be very clear that I'm going to be very straightforward in the next 30-35 minutes with you. And to start with the first question in that regard, you let me know why Pakistan? Because you have been into so many countries, you have seen adversities coming there in the other countries as well. Are these only mountains or the landscape or the people embracing you? Is that the only thing which made you stick to Pakistan only, or was there anything else? Why only Pakistan? I wonder about it.
Well, a lot of people do ask me that. There's people who think that, what's this guy doing here? And what's his interest in Pakistan? This white American Gora, you know, is he CIA agent? Is he, you know, what is he up to? What is this guy doing? And it's a valid question, you know, it's a very valid question. But for me, it goes deeper than the level of being an American or a white person. It comes down to the heart. It comes down to humanity. It comes down to those things which don't have borders. It comes down to being in a place where there's a lot of children in need, a lot of people in need. And there was a lot of people that at the time of the earthquake, when I first came to Pakistan, the way that I was treated and the love that the people that I was helping gave to me, I think that made me want to stay in Pakistan. When I came to Pakistan, I came with a group of Pakistani American doctors, and I had just left Hurricane Katrina in the United States, that disaster. I had just come home from that. Literally, I was in the door not even 5 minutes. And I turned on the television and I saw earthquake in Pakistan is all over the news. So I thought, as a logistics person who just came from one disaster, and then before Hurricane Katrina in America, I also went to the tsunami in Sri Lanka. So I had been to Sri Lanka after that tsunami. So in those two disasters, I spent, month and a half or two in those two places, and came back and was ready to take some rest when I saw that this earthquake was in Pakistan. So I called the Pakistan embassy and said, if you need any logistics support, I'll come. So I came with a group of Pakistani American doctors made up from APNA and from the Islamic Medical Association of North America and other volunteers. And I flew there within days of seeing this. We put the team together and our equipment and supplies, and I went there to Pakistan. So I only planned to stay for 2 weeks. I didn't plan to stay for 15 years. But after a couple of weeks, the doctors asked me to stay. They said they're going back. They have their jobs, and new doctors are coming. And every week or two, new doctors are going to be coming and going. And they needed somebody to keep the hospital that we'd set up in the mountains of Azad Kashmir in a big tent with all of our supplies and medicines, and we needed to keep that going. So they asked me if I would help keep that going. As a logistics person and not a medical person, I was getting their supplies together, picking them up at the airport, taking them in the helicopter, getting them whatever they needed, their food, their medicines, their generator fuel, their communications, their security, whatever those doctors needed. So that was my role. And when they asked me to stay after a couple of weeks, I said, sure, I would love to stay. So that became a few months.
When you said that you are surely you are going to stay there, Todd, let me know that was that only the instinct of serving others? If, for example, if Shahzad is having that similar instinct of serving others, what else criteria Shahzad has to fulfill to reach the level which Todd is following it up on his end? For example, you are going to Sri Lanka, you are doing all the things in the other countries. Are you developed that way? Do you have any certification? Are you having any prior training to that? Or is this only the instinct and the wisdom you are having by default yourself? If that is the instinct only, then there are so many other people around you who can do that same thing. Why those people are not doing as much as you are?
Well, I can't speak for what other people do or don't do, but I know that if you go through those doors that are open to you with intention, then God will open bigger doors for you, and He will support you. He will. If you go with good intention, then you'll be tested. No doubt you'll be tested. And certainly I have been tested and continue to be tested. But more doors will be open to you. For me, I think that it comes down to having a heart that is, I can't stand suffering. I can't stand to see people suffering. And I cannot go to bed at night if I didn't do something about it. So
okay,
when I chose to come to Pakistan, it was purely on the intention and knowing that I could do something. Now, by the time I came to Pakistan, I had already been at several disasters, including 9/11, which was my first disaster. Before that, I was a musician for 15 years before that, working, performing all over, running my own band, recording the songs, being in touch with fans, radio stations, managers. So I learned a little bit about logistics, but in the realm of the music business. But I was able to apply those things when I found myself at Ground Zero in New York on 9/11, and the towers had fallen, and I started helping the firefighters with whatever they need. I kind of learned that I was good naturally at logistics and was able to operate in these very dangerous and insane situations. So I think that when I came to Pakistan, I didn't have any plan that I'll stay there. And since then, I've been to Haiti, Japan, the Philippines, Bangladesh, at the Rohingya camps, at the Burma border. I've been to other places. But the reason I think that I made Pakistan my home and decided to stay there is because of the need and because of the love that the people of Pakistan have given me, because I fell in love with all of the things about Pakistan that make it such a unique and magical place. And I think the other thing is that it was the right timing. It was at a time in my life, and I guess this is part of Allah's plan, that He knew I was going to be in Pakistan for 15 years, but I didn't know. So I think that Allah put me in that time and in that place and at that moment, so that all of those things that combined made it so that it was the right time and the right place and the right situation for me to start my own organization. Whereas before, I always did just volunteer as an individual. But once I got to Pakistan,
I completely understand it, Todd. And that make me fall into another question. आपने कहा कि आपको already पता था यहाँ का जो गोरे को accept किया, खूबसूरत लोग थे यहाँ पे. You have talked about need of the time. You have talked about love of Pakistan, and you talked about timing of overall scenario. You let me know, being the structured person myself, I'm a well organized and planned person. I cannot absorb this information that a person based only on instinct can run an organization for 15 years or so with that much core team which was made in 15 years ago and still intact with this person. I want to learn the art of how you are managing CDRS as an organization, because organizational operations are not convinced on instinct only. Organizational operations demand organizational management. How are you running the CDRS operations at your end?
Well, I think we've grown a lot, and you learn from mistakes, right? You do things and you try things, and as time goes by, you learn what works, you learn what doesn't work. So when I started CDRS, there's a lot that I didn't know, and I've learned a lot since. So I think if you decide to start an organization, first of all, every organization is different. One organization is a charity and another organization is a charity, but they'll be very different in their approach. Organizations are just as different as people are. Every person is different. They'll do the same thing in a different way. And that's how we do it. We do it our way. And our way, quite frankly, is my team and I are like a family. We're like a family. And although I am the founder and I am the CEO and have led this mission and led this team, I rely on my team and their various expertise and their intelligence and their intellect and their knowledge of their own people, in the case of Pakistan, and the things that they're good at. And I guess if you're going to run an organization and it's going to be any kind of success at all, then you have to know that your team, how important they are and how valuable they are, and to listen to them, to take direction from them, not just give direction to them. You have to look at their talents and you have to say to yourself, wow, he or she is much, much more intelligent than I, or trained than I, or able than I am in this particular thing. Maybe it's in house building. Maybe it's in some other kind of administrative technique. Maybe it's in computer. But various people, they all have their talents. They all have their different abilities. So you take each person and then you let them paint their masterpiece. You give them the tools and the things they need so that they can go out and paint their masterpiece of whatever it is they want to do, and try to just help support them and enable them and give them what they need so that they can go do that. So that's what I think that we try to do at CDRS, is give each of our employees a voice, no matter who you are in our organization. At any level, you can speak up and speak your mind and give an idea or a suggestion to me and to the other employees and other people involved in CDRS, so that we can all together move forward.
Okay, Todd, tell us something about CDRS. What CDRS do when the times are good and calm and cool? In cool and calm times, what is the operational management of CDRS? Looks like I've seen and I know that your head office is located in G30 in Islamabad, and you were telling me something about the House of Blessings and all that stuff. So you tell us the scope, history, and operations of CDRS in brief.
Sure. Well, for about the first 5 years, we hardly left Azad Kashmir. We were mostly in the mountains in Azad Kashmir, particularly in District Muzaffarabad and Bagh and Rawalakot, and a little bit in Lipa Valley and Neelam Valley. This is the area that we worked with the AJK Health Department in helping them reestablish the destroyed or damaged health facilities. And that's what we did. In 2009, 4 years after the earthquake, we also did go to the area of Mardan and Swabi, working with the people of Swat who had fled the fighting with the Pakistan Army and Taliban in Swat. And so those 3 million people that were displaced, I actually had the honor of working with Edie, who came to Ayub Medical College in Abtabad, and with my good friend and dear friend, Dr. Noman Siddiqui, who I worked with at the earthquake, who is at Ayub Medical College, and he introduced me to Edie. And we began working together in Mardan with Edie's ambulance service and my medical team and other volunteers. We set up at a small hospital in Zayedabad near the Swat Bunir area border. And we started taking care of people who had fled the fighting from Swat. And wonderful little hospital called Health Trust. And they had the hospital, and it was overrun with patients. So we went there. But in that time frame, up until 2010, we were mostly in Azad Kashmir. Then in 2010, the floods happened. So we started working all over Pakistan with our teams, doing work in the flood areas from Karachi all the way up to Swat. Then in 2010, we opened up a Mother and Child Health Center. So the Mother and Child Health Center in Swat has been our flagship medical operation ever since. For the last 10 years, we've ran that day to day. And then, of course, as the years went by, we started doing more development work as well. Now we do water projects. Now we have youth chapters that we help build youth leaders from these Januni youth who really want to do something for the people of their country and alleviate the suffering and pain of poverty and instability. And they want to build a better Pakistan. And these young people, we try to help build them into leaders and give them the capabilities and the respect that they deserve, so that they can.
Okay, Todd, when you say that you are going to build the leaders for future, I cannot stop myself from asking a question, because I was reading an article where you say that you tend to remain 8 to 9 months in Pakistan, and then you are afraid of generating funds yourself, because you are the only face to generate funds from the donors, right? And on the other hand, I was reading an article of Nelson Mandela, who usually says that a leader is like shepherd. He stays behind the flock, and sheep do not realize that all along they were directed from the backside of the flock. So when I talk about yourself, you are the only person who can raise the funds, and you are the face to that CDRS. My question is, if you want to develop new leaders and new this Jununi thing into the movement of new leaders, how many leaders have you developed so far in CDRS? How many faces are there apart from yourself who have the tendency to raise the funds for yourself, for your organization?
Well, what I do is I find leaders. You find people that already have the leadership qualities, and then you try to help build those qualities in people. So we have a lot of people that they already come from They already have those qualities to start with. I find those people and I keep those people with me. From the very beginning, I've found some very good leaders. Our Director of Operations, Raja Nabil Azad, has been with me since the earthquake. A better Rahman Zafar, he's been with me since the earthquake. You know, we have a couple doctors that have been with us for a decade. You know, I find people that have those leadership qualities. So it's not just me. There's a lot of leaders in Pakistan and in our organization. And then we find youth who either we find them or they find us in various missions or on Facebook. And those people who show me that they have the drive to do something, and they show me that they have already those leadership skills and qualities already ingrained and built in them from their families and from their education, from their background. And then we build on from there. So we have a very good, strong foundation. Even though I go for some time every year and fundraise in the States and a little bit in UK, I'm on the phone and on the email and on the WhatsApp, and I'm in constant communication with them. So I'm always continually working with them in whatever they're doing day to day. We're partners together, and we work together whether I'm in Pakistan with them on ground or whether I'm away. So back to the original question about some of the other development work we do. We have one of the projects that we have, House of Blessings, which is a home for widows and orphans to help build their not only to provide shelter and food and education for the children, but also counseling and career development for the mothers, and help them to lift them to a place where they will not be in poverty, where they'll be able to go out and get better opportunities for themselves, for their children. So this was actually not my idea. This was the idea of Raja Nabil Azad, who wanted to do this. And so we started that project because he wanted to build a project taking care of orphans and helping widows. So we have a lot of leaders here in CDRS.
That is great. That is great. Alhamdulillah. That is really great. I was reading a quotation which says that doing good for poor is not to make their life easier where they are, but getting them out of their poverty and make them sustainable. Make them sustainable and live their own life. And I think Raja Nabil has done the same thing for orphans and widows. My question is, why only orphans and widows? Why
well, no, it's not. It's not just orphans and widows. That's one project, but we build schools, we build homes, we make water projects. We do all sorts of work in Pakistan. In all of the work that we do, the local community that we're serving, they have to provide some labor, they have to provide some timber, they have to do some work. When we do the water projects, they have to contribute, they have to help build the project and maintain the project and keep maintaining it. And of course, we have to keep that water project maintained and tested and keeping it going, because you don't just build a water project and walk away. You have to keep maintaining it. So we have to have the local community not only enjoy the resource and enjoy the benefit of having that thing from a organization that has charitably come with its donors and its money and its people and put something up, but at every step of the way, the local community and the beneficiaries have to give something. In the case of House of Blessings, the women and the children, they have work they have to do. They cook the food there, they keep the place clean, and they also have to give volunteer time to CDRS. They have to give some of their time to serve others who are in need. So in CDRS, everybody has to do something. And you're right, you mentioned something. We make it difficult, actually, not easy. We help them. We place challenges, and we give them the tools and training to improve themselves, so that in some time in the future, hopefully sooner than later, they would not need us anymore. In fact, they would be able to join us either as an employee or a volunteer and be part of that mission to serve others, and not just give to others food, water, and shelter, but also to give them those things which will help them become independent.
That is marvelous. Now coming back to this COVID thing and Corona thing, I would like you to share a light upon the aspect where I can see the difference between earthquake of 2005, floods, and then this pandemic. How do you see this pandemic different from all other adversities in the past? Number one. Number two, what kind of challenges are you and your team are facing while serving the humanity in this pandemic? Number two. And number three, what kind of help do you want from local communities where you are going for your extending help, and you can find this platform beneficial to share few of the things which you think that if local community extend towards you, you can perform better in terms of serving them. So there are three questions. Number one, how you see pandemic different from other adversities. Number two, what are the challenges you are facing nowadays? And number three, what kind of help are you looking forward from the local community?
Sure. The first point was again, tell me again.
How do you see pandemic different from other adversities of the past?
So the thing with this disaster is, if you go back to the earthquake, it was a shocking instant event that happened with 70,000, 80,000 dead, and so many people injured and homes destroyed that had to be responded to. It was an area about the size of Switzerland in Azad Kashmir in northern Pakistan. So it was just one area of the country, mostly remote, mostly mountainous, and the rest of the country was okay. In the floods of 2010, the length of the Indus River had swelled to the point where area the size of the UK was underwater in land, and affected like about 20, 30 million people directly. So the difference with this disaster is it's not only is it all of Pakistan, we've never seen anything like it. It's the disaster zone is the whole world. So allocating resources for just one area is not possible, because everybody everywhere in the world is affected in helping poor people all over the world. So the resources are having to be spread out and distributed, in many more places. So that makes resources for Pakistan less available than if it was just in Pakistan. But as far as Pakistan is concerned, it's the whole country. And people everywhere. So actually this disaster is much bigger in terms of economic impact than those other disasters, because now the entire country, and whether you're rich and poor or in between, whether you own a business or whether you are a day laborer, everybody is economically affected and suffering. And over 100 million people in Pakistan, over half of the population, is if they don't work that day, then they and their family do not eat at night. So this is the main problem that is faced. So CDRS, along with many other partners and many other organizations that are doing great work, are delivering food so that that basic need can be met to those people, the elderly who don't have enough food and cannot work, those people who are disabled, and those people who are living in neglected communities, impoverished, who right now, because they can't work, they need our help with support with food. So that is our key challenge that we're facing. And then of course, secondarily, we're providing the some of the protective equipment for doctors. So that's
what kind of help are you expecting from the local community?
The local community, it's very difficult for, once they're locked down and we have to practice social distancing and all of those things. Basically, when we provide food to the people, we also give them some information, public health information of why it's important to wear a mask, why it's important for social distancing, and then we give them a job. We ask them that please spread this news amongst your community, that why it's important, the reason that it's important to wear a mask out in public, so that you not only, if you're positive and don't even know you're positive, maybe you don't even have symptoms, but you can infect the other person. So if you have a mask, then you can prevent the disease from spreading to someone else. And if you have a mask and you don't have this disease, then you can prevent it from coming to you. Masks are not perfect, but they do increase the odds that you'll be protected or that you won't spread the disease. So these kinds of concepts, along with social distancing, we are telling the community. We're also telling the community to be as self-sufficient right now as possible, and don't take more than you need, because there's so many other people and so many other communities that need to be served. CDRS is getting distress calls from all over Pakistan, from very remote areas and remote places. Even the government and every NGO and organization working in Pakistan is not enough to cover all of the need. So we all have to, we all cannot take more than we need. We have to allow others who need. We have to think collectively and not always individually. And in this case, this is a case where we have to think collectively and care about our brothers and sisters and share with them and make sure that everybody is covered to the best of our ability. This is the message that we're spreading to the people.
Okay, when you say that share with them, it makes me land to another relevant question, that let us know the process inside. For example, sorry, you go
I just
ahead.
wanted to say one thing. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, I have been taught, said that if you take care of your neighbors 40 in this direction and 40 in the other direction, then everybody will be taken care of. It's a very beautiful concept. This is something that even during these times, especially, we have to implement that. We have to work on making sure that our neighbors, 40 in one direction, 40 in the other, are taken care of. So if we have one bag of rice, then we share that with whoever is next to us.
I think that you have hit the jackpot exactly right on the spot. Let's have the process inside, Todd. For example, if anyone wants to either contribute to your cause or movement, or if there is anyone who is seeking help and wants to have help from CDRS, both ways, if there is someone donor or the recipient, how to contact CDR? Let my audience know that what would be the easiest process to contact you.
Well, if they're online, they can go to our website, which is cdrsworld.org, or they can go on Facebook and message us there, and that is facebook.com/CDRSPK. So CDRSPK.
टॉड भाई उन लोगों को बताएं जो चित्राल में बैठे हुए हैं. Let the people who are sitting in Chitral know this thing. आप बड़े भाई हैं, you know online stuff, you can work on that, but the people who are living in that Malakand and Muzaffarabad and Lipa Valley don't have internet, and they don't even spell how to spell internet.
Well, we have a network. In fact, we have a youth team in Chitral. So our youth team in Chitral, and we have about 27 youth chapters all over Pakistan, Balochistan, Sindh, all over, Kashmir, Punjab, KPK. In particular in Chitral, it's the same in other places. Our local team, they go out into the community and deliver the food. So when we get calls for emergency calls that this area needs food, we go and we not only we don't distribute the food at first. First, we find out the registered families. Is any other NGO working in this area? Is the government covered this area? We look at their names and NIC numbers through database and see who actually needs the help and register those families. Then we deliver the food to those families and those names of those people in particular. But we do have our youth teams go out and find, when they're out distributing and doing their admin work that they need to do to register people, that's when we communicate with the people who don't have the internet and the phones and things. So we have a good network spread out, and we've built that network over 15 years of doing various development and disaster work. So we have a good network so that we can meet people in the streets, in the villages that we serve, and also, like we are now, covering people who can log in onto the internet. So those people who can log in and see this, They can get in touch with me also on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is 718 +1 718 809 5381. That's +1 718 809 5381. And they can contact me if they want to donate something or if they need some help. Now, CDRS and our resources are obviously they're limited. We cannot help every single person in every single place. No organization can do that. But we do try to prioritize those most neglected and remote communities who are not served by many NGOs in that area. We try to help those people where there isn't a lot of activity, places off of the road, off of the beaten path. But we also help people in the city as well. So it's everywhere that we can possibly be, we go. So the more resources and donations that we have, the more people that we're able to support.
That is nice. While you answer the next question, I'm writing your number on the display for the people to contact, and you let me know that if this number is correct or not. I have written it as +1 718 880 95381.
That is absolutely correct.
That is correct. That is going to be displayed for the rest of the program. Now, let me know, Todd. For example, I was reading an article which says that there are two kinds of people in the world. One are the people who take, and one are the people who give. The people who take usually eat well, and the people who give usually sleep well. And when I was watching your videos, and I'm sure that you sleep well all night, every night. And if you sleep well, that makes me land into another question of your personal life. How do you create that delicate balance between Todd himself and the CDRS and that all movement and helping all the humanity, all the people in Pakistan? Todd himself is a human being. He must be having a family. He must be having something for his own. How to create that delicate balance? And this question exactly lands for the young people who are working like tigers for you, those Junooni people. I don't want them to let that Junoon go in one direction where they lose the element of longevity. They lose the element of long life for sustainable performance for others. I don't want young people to serve for one day. I want them to be sustainable for the whole of their rest of life. So you let me know, for my audience, that how you create that delicate balance between yourself, your health, your sleep, and all that stuff.
Well, I'm still working on that. It's an inexact science that you try to work on all the time. Sometimes I don't think of myself enough, to be honest with you. And you're right. How can I serve others if I fall apart? So, you have to laugh a lot. You have to laugh with your team. You have to, even though you see a lot of suffering, you have to find the beauty in life to sustain your heart and your mind and your soul and your spirit. You have to remember Allah. You have to remember that the things that He puts in front of you that are tests, that are challenges, are only to help build you and make you able to do even greater things. So even if it's a very difficult, very hard test, try to go about it with a smile on your face and take strength and knowledge in that truth that this is a good thing, that you're being tested, and that you're going to come out stronger in the end. So these are good things. But not only do I sleep well, but I also eat well. And why do I eat well? Because Pakistani food is so mazadar, and everybody in Pakistan loves to feed this gora here. So I've gained weight. I went from 200 pounds now to 320 pounds in the last 15 years. Why? Because everyone loves to feed the gora. So the thing is that I sleep well because my life has a purpose. And the purpose is not to serve Pakistanis, it's to serve human beings. And it happens to be in Pakistan where God has put me to serve human beings. And that's a beautiful coincidence for me, because I've really enjoyed interacting and being with the people of Pakistan at all levels. And so for me, it's not just about giving, but I also take. I take tremendous enjoyment from doing my job and helping others. If people do not give back, if people do not serve humanity and serve the suffering who need help, they're depriving themselves of such a gift, such a feeling, a wonderful feeling that you helped that person and gave them hope or gave them something that helps them to sustain their life. What we tell our youth that we work with is, don't just go out and do good work. Go out and create 1,000 more people just like you who will do work for the humanity, who will care about others beyond just themselves. So this is what I hope that we can do more of in the future. That's our goal, is to work with more youth and build up more youth so that they will build up more youth in turn of their time doing this work. But always, yes, you always have to take care of yourself as well. Feed your soul, feed your body, feed your mind, and no matter what the challenge is, always keep a smile on your face and keep that strength in your heart, and know that these difficult times, they will pass.
Okay, that is great. That is great. Todd, before we leave, and because we are running to last moments of the program, let us know, you're talking about the future plan of the people making more leaders. Let us know the future plans of CDRS in the first instance. For example, what were the targets which were achieved last year? What are the targets of CDRS for this current year? What are your future plans? How much you expect from the people looking at this program or not, to help or donate your movement, not you yourself but your movement, and what exactly CDRS is looking forward for the next 3 to 5 years from now?
Well, what we want to do, obviously this COVID-19 emergency has changed all of our plans this year, and really, like everybody's plans have been now destroyed, and they have to re-examine everything. But beyond this emergency, and even during this emergency, we are using our youth chapters that we have, but we've had to stop with the growth of the youth chapters. So, but in 3 to 5 years, our plan is to have a CDRS youth chapter in every district of Pakistan, doing good work for the humanity, for the people, for the needs of the community there, including the environment. That means the trash, that means the dumping of things, that means the factories dumping things into the river and hurting the water and hurting the environment. That means rescuing the kuttas and billies and making sure they're taken care of too, because no society can be healthy. The child cannot be healthy. If the animals are not healthy, then they will spread disease, they will bite children, they will also be a problem for the whole community. So we want our youth, we want to grow our youth projects into a national group that can tackle issues in a much bigger and much better way than we can right now, in a much larger sense. So that is our goal. And then we want to build more House of Blessings and help more of the widows and orphans that we serve now. And we just want to do the same thing that we're doing now, but we just want to do it in a bigger way, in more areas of Pakistan. That is our key. We want to do what we're doing and grow it. So in order to grow it, we are going to need more help, more donors, more support from people out there who want to give their time. So people that don't have money, but they have time to give or expertise to volunteer, we definitely want that. We want to find those Januni youth in all different places who are leaders already. We want to build our network working with them. We don't want that lazy person who just wants to join up and get money from us. No, we want that person who has the drive and the leadership and the will to help their people at all costs. And those people who will help their fellow human beings and their community, even if nobody else is doing or supporting them. We want to find those people who have that passion, that Janoon.
That is good. for me, take me as a person who is above this subjective or vagueness based thing, because you are really inspiration and motivational speaker. You have made me feel abnormal with your talk and with your words so far. But if I am a donor and I work on numbers, and if I am to see your achievement and quantify it, you tell the people that how many people in Pakistan have been served by CDRS till today, number one. And number two, quantify me that when you say donation, how much donation or how much target in terms of number, in terms of volume you have for CDRS for this current year to gather together.
Well, last year we were able to generate about 600,000 US dollars in funds. This year we wanted to make $1 million. I don't know if that's going to happen. The COVID-19 thing has, had an effect on our donors as well. Their businesses and their things have also, now they're also suffering, or their employees need that. Everything has to change. So maybe we won't make $1 million this year. That was our goal. But that is our current goal. We hope to at least generate $1 million to $1.5 million in the next every year for the next several years, and we have reached, by the end of the year it's going to be around 3 million people that we've helped, and well over 1 million patients that we've treated. So we want to definitely in the next 3 years we want to match that number and double that. So these are the numbers that we have that we would like to at least cover that territory.
That is great. That is great, Todd, indeed. Do you have any last minute advice or suggestion or any last words which may help people who are confined to their homes, who cannot go out to help the people outside their home while remaining in their home, what they can contribute to CDRS? That should be my last question to you in this program.
Well, there's only one good thing about this disaster, that in our modern times of technology, a very, very large number of people in Pakistan and around the world, they are connected not only through phones but internet, and they have an ability, even sitting at home, many people have an ability to communicate with the whole world. So I would say that people sitting at home, the way they could help CDRS is they can communicate with me and our team. They can spread this show and other information about CDRS. They can go to our website, they can go to our Facebook page, they can talk to me, and then they can take that information and they can spread that to their friends and networks and around the world, so that they're helping us promote the work that we're doing, so that we might get more supporters. So from home, this is definitely, they can use the connection that this modern age has given us and has for us, so that they're not just trapped in their home alone. Some people are, and those people it's more difficult for them, obviously, because those who can communicate with the whole world through their internet device, even though they're locked in at home, they can still have no boundaries in many ways in communication. So if you have that ability and you're able to see this show, that means you have that connection, and you should use that connection. And if you want to, if you're inspired by the work that my team and I are doing, then you can join us by helping to promote our work and volunteering your time from right there at home, and letting others know what we're doing, and be in contact with us, so that you can be a part of our work right from home.
That is quite a good suggestion, because I have seen many people around me who can conduct webinars, events, online events, who can create artworks and designs for CDRS, and there are so many other ways where you find yourself well equipped to help CDRS and Todd in general. Todd, thank you very much for your time and wisdom sharing. I really appreciate your efforts, not only for us but the whole world, and you are really the heart which gives, and therefore you are the only person who is gathering all the wisdom and all the love and appreciation. You take very best care of yourself, not for yourself but for our sake. Thank you very much for your time, and inshallah we are going to meet again. Pakistan
Inshallah.
Zindabad. I'm leaving you. I'm closing it out from here my side, and I'm leaving you to close the program. Pakistan Zindabad, and over to Todd.
Bahut bahut shukriya, Shahzad, and Pakistan Zindabad.